Here's some homework help for section 3.4, page 184. I've selected two problems because we really didn't have time to cover this in class. This is a little different factoring method. This is known as factoring by grouping. Not sure if you've ever seen this in Algebra 1, but I thought I would just show you how this works by just going ahead and doing a couple of your homework problems, and then see if you can go back and do this same thing on your own after seeing this method. Okay, well, here's how factoring by grouping works. They were really nice to us. They've pretty much already grouped these terms so that you can pretty much see a GCF within these first two and then within the second two terms. Okay, so grouping means within this first two terms, that's my first group, do you recognize a GCF? Well, the GCF for 32 and 40 would be 8, and then they have a common variable with these first two terms, and that would be x. And now let's just go ahead and factor out the 8x, and we would get 4y plus 5b. Okay, so just looking at my first two terms in this expression, find a GCF, factor it out. Okay, do the same thing for the second two terms. And I'm hoping that you could tell that the number would be -3. That's our GCF for -12 and -15. And then they have a common variable a. Well, something interesting happens when we factor out -3a from the second two terms. Lo and behold, we get the same two terms in the parentheses. And you could double check it by FOIL or distributive property. -3a times 4y would be -12ay, and -3a times 5b is -15ab. So you always know that you've done the factoring by grouping correctly if you end up with the same binomial appearing twice. And so your answer will be these two binomials, the two terms that are outside times this common binomial 4y plus 5b. And that is your answer for number 22. That is known as factoring by grouping. Not sure if you guys have seen that before. Okay, 25 is a lot like it. And they've pretty much done the grouping for us. Sometimes you've got to rearrange these so that you can do a GCF, but that's not the case here. If we look at these first two terms, the GCF for 36 and 48 would be 12. And then they have a common variable c. And when we factor out 12c in this first group, we get 4g plus 3f. Okay, for the second group, there is no number besides -1, but they do have a common d. So we'll say -1d, or just -d. And when we factor out -d, we're going to get 4g plus 3f. So we know that we've done the factoring correctly typically if we end up with this same binomial in both. So our answer is that common binomial times the terms that are not in parentheses together. So that is your answer for number 25. Okay, and I hope that helps. That's all the help. I hope the rest of them are what you're used to seeing, the typical factoring, hopefully that you've seen in the past. If you have any questions, let me know.